we're out here at Utah Lake. We're out here trying to just harvest some algae out of Utah Lake. The main purpose we really wanted to do is Utah Lake's a great lake and we love it out here. A lot of people like to use it, but it's been infested with blue-green algae, and it has algae blooms, which would be kind of hazardous to the animals and the people who want to use the lake. So our goal is to actually try and find a really convenient and practical way to harvest the algae out of the lake.
Our goal is to build a system, a mobile floating, we call it an algae harvesting barge, that will go to the hot spots or the worst spots where the algal blooms are the worst on Utah Lake, and so we can focus on the key areas. We pump the water out and we filter it through our cellulose plate and frame filter press, and that captures the algae but puts cleaner water back in. Full-scale algae harvesting barge will be about 30 feet long, 10 feet wide. We'll be able to pump 1,800 gallons per minute of algae water through the filtration system and remove the algae. That system complete is going to cost $250,000. So, you know, solving a problem as big as the algal bloom problem, not only on Utah Lake but in other lakes, is a huge benefit. But we need that $250,000 to build our first full-scale floating algae harvesting barge.
A barge like that, or a couple barges like that, operating at the source of these blooms. So if you were able to run that barge in an area where the bloom was beginning, you might be able to slow that bloom or keep it from spreading across the rest of the lake. And oftentimes that's kind of the win that we're looking for, is keeping these blooms in targeted locations so that the bulk of the lake is fully accessible.
What I want to do with the algae is convert it into energy. And the way we want to do that is a piece of equipment called a gasifier. Think of it as you're kind of burning it, and you make a gas that can then be run in an internal combustion engine and run a generator. There are other things we can do with it. We could compost it and make a nice soil amendment, because the algae captures those nutrients that's coming into the lake. They capture the nutrients, nitrogen and phosphorus, to grow. But that means that when we harvest them, we can compost them and make a really nice soil amendment or fertilizer for your soil. And they release the nitrogen and phosphorus back to the soil to grow more plants.
I've worked mainly in the lab with Dr. Shurtleff, collecting data. One of the big things that we've tried to do is to develop the correct flow rate. We have to add a cellulose mixture because the algae, if it goes through the filter by itself, clogs it up. My experience has been awesome. In classes the last few years, we've talked a lot about critical thinking and problem solving. This project, we're able to actually go out and solve real life problems and do hands-on experiences through trial and error, through problem solving. So it's been awesome to be able to tackle something that is important to the community, but do it in a research-based way.
Feels good to kind of get out here in the field a little bit. I've never done like a project like this. You know, I've always been in classes and the teachers are like, here's your homework, do this. But this one, I'm actually thrown into the problem myself. And so I have to think for myself. I actually use the things I learned in class here outside in the field. And it's been a blast. Like, I've learned so much. You know, Dr. Shurtleff has been a great mentor and I've learned a ton about it. So working on this project has been great. Like, I've enjoyed it.